I don't think Crawford's going to put him away, and I think Canelo's a much better mover than people give him credit for. And I think Crawford will be hit more and hit harder than he's ever been hit before, but I don't think he'll go out or down.
Consistent with Terence Crawford's fight schedule over the last several years, where he's been pretty much fighting one time a year. That one time a year is clearly giving him a lot of time to rest and recover from his...
Boxing experts are pointing out a potential weakness in Terence Crawford's latest training footage. Gareth, who once backed Crawford to defeat Canelo Alvarez, has now changed his stance. As fight night draws closer, he believes Canelo's power will pose a threat Crawford has never faced before. This shift reflects a growing concern over whether Crawford can withstand the Mexican star's punches at the elite level. Adding to the doubts, Gennady Golovkin's trainer has predicted that Crawford may struggle with stamina at the higher weight. He suggested fatigue could set in as early as the fourth round due to the sudden muscle gain and heavier frame.
Early on, very close rounds in the first 3 or 4. We'll be divided on who's winning. I think Canelo will get going in the second third of the fight and land some big shots. I think Crawford will look good as well. Rounds 6 to 9, we'll be looking at who's getting ascendancy in the fight. Crawford will have weathered the storm of the big Canelo punches, countered himself, still close rounds. I think Canelo will push away and in my view will win the fight, because I don't think Crawford's going to put him away, and I think Canelo's a much better mover than people give him credit for, and I think Crawford will be hit more and hit harder than he's ever been hit before, but I don't think he'll go out or down, and if he does go down, he'll get up. I think it'll be a very, very close affair, and I think even if in those last 6 rounds, Crawford's got Canelo's number in terms of movement and timing, I still think if it's very close in rounds, I think it'll either be a draw or a narrow points decision for Saul Canelo Alvarez that everybody feels is very controversial, and then they'll do it again. That's how I see it playing. That's the plot, if you like, with the subplots in the drama of one of the biggest fights we've seen in...
has alarmed fans and analysts alike. Crawford has typically fought only once or twice per year, giving his body time to recover, but the short turnaround for this bout may have limited his recovery. A shoulder issue, even a minor one, could affect everything from his punching speed to his defensive reflexes.
His former trainer said that Crawford's gonna be quick in the first 4 rounds, but once Canelo figures him out and actually starts hitting Terence Crawford, in which Sanchez described as, quote, like a huge truck hitting him, it'll be game over for Terence Crawford. He explained that Crawford may not have the legs for someone like Canelo in the 168-pound division. Sanchez also added that if Canelo was eventually going to be Crawford's endgame, then Crawford should have jumped weight divisions a while back. Now, Crawford could have technically done that after the Spence fight. However, his once-a-year fight schedule prevented that from happening.
Mentally, it could also make him hesitant to fully commit against a seasoned, heavy-handed opponent like Canelo. If true, this injury would add another dangerous layer to an already risky challenge. Keith Thurman has weighed in with a grounded perspective.
37, 38 years old is going to have some type of injuries. They're going to have some type of old nagging type of stuff, especially a guy that works as ridiculously hard as Terence Crawford does. That was just a matter of time before wear and tear is going to start going and things are going to start popping off and going wrong, right? Also, you can tell that the reason that this is kind of consistent with Terence Crawford's fight schedule over the last several years, where he's been pretty much fighting one time a year. That one time a year is clearly giving him a lot of time to rest and recover from his injuries and gives his body time to heal up. And as a result, okay, he's ready to go during fight time. So I wouldn't put too much on this. I would say, though, that if you're a gambling person, man, you should probably want to keep your money in your pocket for this particular fight, man, because this thing can absolutely positively go either way with between the two of these guys. Canelo Alvarez is an exceptional fighter, much bigger than Terence Crawford is, or been fighting at a much bigger weight class than Terence Crawford's been fighting at, and much more experienced at that level at 168 pounds. But Terence Crawford is just such a superb fighter and such an intelligent fighter in there that you can know that he's going to be coming there to fight, and he's got a significant chance to win that fight. Unless, of course, that injury is real. I mean, and it is significant and is preventing him from, really sitting down on his punches, because he's going to have to at a point in time with Canelo Alvarez is going to have to do something to get him up off of him.
He reminded fans that while Canelo is not undefeated, his setbacks have only strengthened him as a fighter. According to Thurman, Canelo's experience, resilience, and skill set make him extremely dangerous, and Crawford will have to reach new levels to succeed. Simply knowing that Canelo has lost before does not make him an easy target.
An unbeatable fighter. That's fine. None of us are really unbeatable, right? But people got to understand this. Canelo Alvarez is not an unbeatable fighter. The question is, whoever he's fighting, we don't question what Canelo's going to do, right? We question what his opponents are going to do, right? It's not even really about Canelo. Canelo's going to show up as Canelo Alvarez, right? Ginger boy. So the question is, are you going to beat him? And are you going to beat him today? Like, when fight night happens, is it you and is it now? You ready to beat him now? He's not unbeatable. Maybe you can beat him, but are you going to do it? And are you going to do it now? You feel me? Because I thought Danny Jacobs was going to have a way better performance.
Danny actually performed well against Canelo, but he didn't take any chances. He was doing just enough to not get beaten.
And Canelo was feeling himself. Canelo had preparation. He had that head movement, losing to Floyd, this and that. He fought some flat-footed fighters. He got used to getting his head here and there and ducking down and then pulling out and spinning out and little tactics. I've never seen somebody make Danny Jacobs miss so many punches. It was highly impressive. I did not expect that, because of the amateur pedigree growing up with Danny Jacobs. I know exactly what kind of New York fighter he is.
Meanwhile, their recent face-off stirred discussion when Crawford appeared nearly equal in size to Canelo, a surprise to many given Canelo's reputation as a naturally stocky, powerful fighter at higher weights. Some believe Crawford's added bulk is a positive sign, while others warn that looking bigger does not guarantee
showdown. And the big talk, obviously, is the size difference, right? That Canelo Alvarez is much bigger than the smaller Terence Bud Crawford, who is essentially coming up from 147 in the minds of many. But really and truly, he's coming up from 154 because he actually had a fight at 154, a titled opportunity, his only fight at 154 last August when he took on Israel Madrimov, okay? And he beat Israel Madrimov, unanimous decision, to become a 4-division champion. But as you see here in this photo, there's not a big size difference. And actually, obviously, we know Terence Crawford stands at 5'8", got a 74-inch arm reach. Canelo stands at 5'7" with a 70-inch arm reach. There's not a massive size difference at all whatsoever. Now, clearly, as you see, Terence Crawford clearly has on what looks like Balenciaga shoes, and we know they are extremely big shoes, and they make you slightly taller. And Canelo Alvarez has on flats. The thing here is, the more important thing is, not if Terence Crawford can take Canelo Alvarez's punches. It's not if Terence Crawford, is going to get bullied around the ring. The concern with the weight is how Terence Crawford carries it himself. does he start to fatigue in the second half of the fight? Should he get to the second half?
Take risks and try it in the fight before it drags into deeper waters where Canelo thrives.